Hey guys, it's Duff McKagan back with some more questions and hopefully answers from you guys from the website. First question, Josephine May. What's your favorite GNR song to play live for this tour? Little asterisk there. It depends. It really depends. Like right now, Axl's just calling the songs. Like the first song, we know we're playing Jungle, and then the rest is kind of Fly by the Seat of the Pants, which makes it really fun. He called Michelle the other night. That was super fun to play. We're playing Out to Get Me. Songs I haven't played for a while seem to be the the funner ones to play. But, we see like the reaction from the crowd like on every song, and I gotta really realize that and take that in. Like November Rain means so much to people, or Coma, like the middle part of Coma, or whatever. So I kind of just try to live in that moment. Thanks, Josephine. Lemmy Mitchell asks, which country do you like playing in the most? Have you ever visited Cornwall, UK? And if not, why not? I have not been to Cornwall. I plan on doing that. Why not? Just because my travels have not taken me there yet, but they shall. Lemmy Mitchell. Favorite country? The one I'm playing, last night, Italy was pretty fucking rad. UK's fucking rad. Argentina's fucking rad. Brazil, Spain. I could just go on. Istanbul, Turkey was amazing to us. I don't have a favorite because I could say, going to the UK, it's better because I speak the same language, but that doesn't really speak to, is it my favorite place to play? It is one of my favorite places to play, though. Okay, Matthew. Next question, Matthew. No last name. I see you are going to Birmingham for Ozzy's last show. What does he mean to you? Well, that's a pretty big question. Ozzy's been a constant. Since I'm going to say 6 years old, because when I was a little kid, FM radio started, and I had all these older siblings, and we had a stereo in the living room of our house, and they would play FM radio. And what FM radio did then was play like a whole side of a record, and it was rock and roll music. So it'd be like Hendrix and whatever. And I remember hearing Iron Man for the first time, whatever year that was. And however old I was, young, thinking Iron Man was, wow, it's like a cartoon thing. And what is this song? And it was kind of accessible for me. And a few years later, when I started playing guitar, I could figure that song out. And Sabbath and Ozzy just remained a constant, even, like I love the Never Say Die record, which is 78. Some people kind of passed over that stuff, and Sabbath going with Dio was a really cool period, and Ozzy going on his own and doing his thing was, he became an icon, I think, when he went solo, whatever that means. But there's certain Iggy, Lemmy, Ozzy, Prince. There was these constants in rock and roll, and Ozzy remains that. Okay. Robert Amos. This is your question, Robert Amos, okay? Is this the first time GNR are playing Wembley Stadium? What does it mean to you to play there? It is not the first time GNR is playing Wembley. We've played here a couple times there in the 90s on our own, and we played the Freddie Mercury concert there. So I think this is our third time playing there, and I could be wrong. This could be fourth, but I think it's the third. It's a big deal playing Wembley. Like, I'm already thinking about it, and I don't usually think that far in advance of gigs. I think about the next show. But Wembley's a big deal, Playing London's a big deal. It's like New York, London, LA, that whole thing. And playing Wembley is just the kind of pinnacle for a rock and roll band. And I'm super happy about it. Okay. This is from Mike D. What do you and Slash talk about on a regular day? Well, I mean, regular days could mean all kinds of stuff for us. It could be rehearsal where we have our in-ears in, and once you put those in-ears in, you don't talk because you can't hear each other talk. We talk about, I don't know, normal stuff, cars, cars, kids, health, happiness, regular stuff. Thanks for the question. Rachel Bloom asks me, have you recorded any new Duff songs and when can we expect to hear them? I have recorded many new Duff songs. I think about, not kidding, about 50 songs ready to go. When? Soonish. I have a record kind of all ready to go. I recorded some more songs with the Lighthouse Band, who are fantastic, and that was one of the most lovely tours I've ever done. Those players are great. We got off the road and went straight in the studio and recorded some songs. So I've got that. I've got stuff I did before and stuff after. So, and I'll probably get home in August and record some more songs, and we'll see when those come out. Thanks for the question. Nathan asks, where did you learn to sing so well? I heard you sing backup on different live videos, the Ritz, 88. You sound great. I also admire your voice on Tenderness. Were you self-taught or did Axel give you some pointers? Self-taught, although I have taken vocal lessons throughout the time. Jamie Douglas's wife, Rachel, during the Tenderness time, was a great vocal coach for me. Singing backing vocals is a whole different animal, and we take great pride in that in Guns N' Roses, singing really good backing vocals. We work on it. It's a different part of your body you use and everything. Singing lead vocal is something I've been working on all this time, developing my voice, finding good places for me to sing, note-wise and all of that. So I think as I get older or do this longer, whatever you want, hopefully I get better at the stuff I do because I do work at it. I get pointers from Axel just by watching him do his thing nightly. I've gotten a lot of pointers. I've stolen a lot of things from him because he's good. Lisa Collins asks, are you into F1? Who's your favorite team, driver, and track? I am into F1. I will admit that I came into it from that Drive to Survive thing on Netflix. My wife and I both got into it. Somebody said you should watch this thing. It was like 2019 or so. And we really, really got into F1. I don't know if I have a favorite driver. Like those seasons make you kind of like every driver and every team. I'm a Hamilton guy. Maybe I pull for him more. Maybe just because he's the KG veteran guy. He's closer in age to me. I don't know why that is. But Slash and I got to go drive on the track in Bahrain a few weeks ago. We drove these Renault race cars, and he and I both went to a race car driving school in America, so we know how to, drive a track. Not great, but I know how to drive a track. And Susan and I went to the race in Monaco a couple of years ago, right before tour, Guns N' Roses tour, and it was fancy and really cool, and yeah. Mike Truff asked me, how did you meet Dan Jones? Where's your favorite place you've been with him? Nice. Dan Jones I met because I was watching, again during COVID, watching Great British Castles by Dan Jones, was featuring Dan Jones, presented by Dan Jones. And there was a book that he mentioned in one of the episodes. And I looked at the end of the credits, and there was no, they didn't say what the book was or who wrote it. So I thought I wrote into the show. Dan Jones says I DM'd him or something. But whichever way, I reached out to ask about the book, and then Dan, I could tell Dan was a rocker because you could see tattoos sticking out of his leather jacket. He was wearing a great frog ring, which is like this, Keith Richards, like Lemmy wears the rings, and this guy's a rocker. And one thing led to another, and I'm a major history fan, and he's a major historian. I've read 4 of his books. He's an amazing history writer. If you get a chance to read Dan Jones, please do. And I think we went to Accra. That was my favorite place to see the Templar tunnels with him in Israel, up on the coast. That was super cool. But we just did some Istanbul stuff. We did Sevilla in Spain. I'm going to go to the Tower of London with him. He is now the trustee of Royal Palaces for the UK. Congratulations, Dan. Mr. Crowley asks, are you able to list all the bands you ever played in? Sort of. The first band I played in, do you really want to do this? Dan, should I do this? Yes. Okay. Can't remember the first. What was it? Okay, I've skipped the first band. I'll come back to that. The Veins was my first band I made a single with. I was 14. I sing on it, a song called The Fake, before my voice ever changed. Fastbacks was a band called the Zip Dads. I was in a band called Cleavage. I was in the Farts. I was in 10 Minute Warning. There's a bunch of bands I just completely forget the names of. I was in your basic Gur band for a minute there. I played drums. The DTs, I played drums for the DTs. Avant Garde, that was the first band. It was like this cover band. And I think I was, 13 and 14 and played Blondie songs and, Bebop Deluxe and whatever was kind of new wave and punk. That must have been 1978. Was 1978. Played in a lot of bands. And then, moved to LA and played in a band ever since Guns N' Roses. But I played in, Neurotic Outsiders with Steve Jones. Had my own band. Played on a record with Wayne Kramer and Brian James. Velvet Revolver, Walking Papers, Loaded, Jane's Addiction, stuff. Yeah, cool. Honorary member of Motorhead, because I played with them a bunch of times. I have the plaque. Huh?
But not Max Creeps.
I'm not Max Creeps.
No, I was just checking.
I wish.
They're cool, right?
They're the best. They invented everything. Without Max Creeps, what the fuck are we even doing here? The Guitar Addict asks, what would you say is the hardest or most difficult song for you to play live with the Guns N' Roses nowadays? Well, I did this as a kind of point of that. I've always wanted to play Thunder and Lightning by Thin Lizzy, to play bass and sing that song. There's so many lyrics, and to play and sing that song is a challenge. And so we started that at rehearsal. We played it, I think, 3 or 4 times out here on the road, where I'm singing it and playing bass. And it's a challenge. Now, we've rehearsed it a million times, so it's not as challenging as it was when I first started doing it in my basement, 6 weeks before rehearsal. Karsten Baumgart asks, what is your favorite place to be in Seattle? And do you ever place a chewing gum on the Seattle gum wall? I have not put a chewing gum. There's a lot of chewing gum on that chewing gum wall. I mean, I didn't even know it was there until like I saw it in some like guide of things to do in Seattle. Be honest with you. My favorite place in Seattle is at my house or at my studio. There's a lot of cool places to see in Seattle if you're visiting. Go to Pike Place Market, go to Fremont, go take a ferry to Bainbridge Island. A bunch of cool, go to Capitol Hill. Don't be scared to go to Seattle. Seattle's fucking awesome. This is from Harry. Is there any particular record you always find yourself going back to? And what have you been listening to lately while on tour? Has any new music caught your attention? Yeah, because Susan and I have the radio show, 3 Chords and the Truth. We find new stuff. Fontaine's DC, I like. There's a young rock and roll band called Ace Monroe that are pretty killer. Turnstile, I really like. I kind of go back when I listen. We have records at home, like a record room, like with a record player, a bunch of records. I mean, I'll listen to all kinds of stuff. It depends on if we're just playing video games. Susan, we like to play video games and listen to records. We'll listen to ABBA and Rush, but I'll come back to like some Black Flag or Prince. Again and again, Bowie. I've got some playlists that I have on my iPad that it's, Dolls and Bowie, but it'll go into like Black Flag and Turnstiles and stuff. So, yeah. Kevin asks, how do you do your radio show with Susan from the road? Well, I have a microphone. I've got my iPad. And I have this app called Dolby On, and we record our shows. That's how we record every show, whether on the road or not. We just come up with playlists, and we kind of write a little script so we know what we're going to kind of say. The rest of that, we're just kind of free-balling. But we do it. We recorded a show the other day. I think we're going to record one tomorrow. So, cool. Thanks for the question. Charles Clifton says, tell us about playing music with Jerry Cantrell. You were in his new video. He was on a song on Lighthouse and video. Yes, correct. And that song's called I Just Don't Know. I played on his song. I played on his new record. And the song we did the video for was I Want Blood. He had a few different bass players. I think I played on 4 songs. But this song was with Puffy, Mike Borden playing drums, and Jerry. Jerry and I have been friends for a long time. We watch NFL football together. He's got a little studio. I'll end up playing on little demos of his all the time while we're at halftime of football. And that's kind of how that started. But I've encouraged him to play bass because he's such a cool... You can't just pick up a bass and play, I got this. You got to have feel, and you got to have these intangible things, and he has them as a bass player. So he actually played bass on a couple songs on his record, but I've encouraged him because there's some, like he's asked me to play over things he's played. I'm like, I'm not going to play over that bass line. It's perfect. So we're just buddies, and we appreciate each other's music. So there we go. So thanks you guys for the questions. I kind of enjoy doing this. It gives me a little break from tour and think about something else. And we'll keep doing this, I think. If you got questions, you know how I answer them off the cuff. Until next time, guys. See ya.